This is the Freeheel Life podcast, episode number 128. I'm your host, Josh Madsen, coming at you from the Freeheel Life shop in Salt Lake City, Utah. And welcome back. It's Monday, and I'm here with another fine podcast to keep you going through the spring. Hopefully, I feel like this is the time of year we sort of get into the spring mode. Everybody's like over skiing and over the winter. And you'll all start coming back around to the cold weather here in about 3 or 4 months. That's usually how it goes. We hate one thing, get ready for the next, and then all of a sudden you're like, I missed that. Bring it back. So either way, I'm going to keep these podcasts going for the duration of the spring and summer in the Northern Hemisphere. So if you're down south, Chile, Argentina, New Zealand, Australia, if you're skiing somewhere, I hope you are starting to get pumped. And hopefully we can find out more about what's going on there and sort of keep that in the newsroom and notes. For all those of you that checked out our episode last week with Taylor Johnson, we talked about the Freeheel Life Protector skis a little more in depth. We dropped our first batch of 25 skis, so hopefully you had the chance to get on that if you are one of those folks that would like to have our skis. And we're really excited about that. So that's really the big news going on right now. We've got a full staff rolling through the summer, and we're working hard and already preparing for the fall and winter months of next ski season. So today I kind of wanted to dig a little bit back in the history of Freeheel Life with someone that is incredibly important to the business and has been here since day one. And she's been an amazing part of building the business. She's worn every single hat, as you will soon learn in this conversation. And she's done amazing things, sometimes more behind the scenes. And we get a little bit more into that because she's not the maybe the skier that you're going to see on the Instagram page and the Facebook page and the website. But like many small businesses, everybody plays an important role in keeping it going, and I'm greatly appreciative of everything that she's done. So please welcome Ashley Berkowitz. Ashley Berkowitz, how the hell are you?
Oh, you know, it's not another day in paradise because I'm not Nate, but I'm here.
That was good. It's always a day in paradise.
The Freeheel Life, yeah, it is paradise.
It is paradise.
Telemark paradise.
Well, it's good to have you here. You've never done a solo podcast.
No.
I'm trying to think. You've done a couple though.
Yeah, Tay and I did that first one like way back, like early. Like, I mean, that could have been like 3 or 5 episode or something, like, remember?
Yeah, and then you did one with LeBlanc and Tay.
Yeah, we did the one about our travels
Black shoes
in Europe. But then we also did that, I also did that boot. We did the boot one.
The boot one?
Yeah, we talked a lot about boots.
I vaguely remember that.
Well, there have been so many at this point. It's hard to keep up.
Episode number 1000. No, that's funny. Yeah. No, but I'm glad you're doing a solo one because I was trying to think of interesting people and getting you on the podcast because you're definitely the I feel like you're like the OG Freeheel Life member.
Yep. That
sometimes gets overshadowed by all the other people
because I don't get rad.
You're not getting rad in the pow pow.
No, I'm not. I'm not shredding in the gnar, in the pow pow, in the it's not nuking. I don't care if it's nuking. No, I don't. All of my favorite.
It still makes me laugh when you
snow
use
culture.
When you use any sort of verbiage like that. I'm like, I'm not buying that. I'm not totally sure that's. I'm not sure you're using it in a way that actually sounds like you use that on a regular basis.
Well, when you mostly grow up in the desert of Phoenix, Arizona, I mean, there are 2 ski resorts in Arizona. So some people do ski, snowboard, whatever, but like it's not exactly the go-to when you live in Phoenix is to become a snow person. So I had like 1, terrible ski experience when I was 19. And it was bad. Actually, though, it was funny because it was at Deer Valley, and I finally got my vengeance with Deer Valley and renewed that a few years back. But like, yeah, I was 19. I'd never skied before, and went with a now ex, and talk about red flags in a relationship. If your whoever takes you on a black diamond run when you've never skied a day in your life and literally just basically says pizza, french fries, and sends you on your way like off of a literal cliff. Like I can still remember, like in my mind, like it was a drop off that like I would not even do today. Like it was so awful. So like it was just scary and dangerous and not fun, and it was cold. And then another time, like my ski fell off when I was going down a run because I skied like off into the trees, and I couldn't get my ski back on, and it was just like terrible. Like it just wasn't fun. Like, you know, it was not a good experience. And so I literally, as I sat there trying to get my ski on for who knows how long, I was like, I'm never skiing again. But if you're me and you say I'll never ski again, then many years later, you'll meet Josh Madsen and you'll end up living in Salt Lake City, Utah, and helping to open and run not just a ski shop, but a Telemark ski shop, which I definitely did not know what that was for. Anyway, so yes, that is why. So on top of that, no, so I'm not like an expert skier. I did not grow up skiing. And then mostly, I mean, I guess technically what I've mostly done in the shop is a lot of the behind the scenes, not fun things to keep things running. Although, I mean, I have been in the front of the shop a lot over the years. So anyone that has come into the shop from time to time could have seen me. I have answered the phone.
Well, this is why I wanted to have you on too, because I think you like you mentioned, you get sort of overshadowed, yet you've been here since the beginning.
Since before the beginning.
Well,
technically.
full disclosure, because people are probably like, how did you guys even end up working together?
Right.
We were dating at the time.
Yep.
I met you when I was not even, the shop wasn't open. You lived in Flagstaff, and
yet never skied. I lived in Flagstaff for 3 years, and I never once.
Well, and I think this is kind of, I mean, it's, not that we have to go down that rabbit hole, but I think people that knew the shop in the first couple of years, we were still dating.
Yeah.
And I think that's been the cool thing is we've maintained a friendship after that and helped run the shop. But I think you get sort of forgotten in the mix. Like you said, people,
that's always the thing. People always, you know, when you're making like the dumb conversation with like people at random places, and they're always like, so why did, are you from Utah? No. Oh, well, what brought you to Utah? And I'm always like, and I'm always like, a guy, but we're not together anymore, but we're really good friends and we still run a business together. So
yeah, it's been funny, but I think that's the cool part though, is you've been helping build this, and I think that's why I wanted to make sure we did a podcast, because you deserve all of the credit in the world for helping bring Freeheel Life to life. And it's funny because I think back, like one of the first things we did, and this is like the classic entrepreneurial story, but you probably remember this, is even before the shop opened, like I was shipping shirts and you were helping me ship shirts out of my apartment
in like manila envelopes.
Yeah, it was it's so funny to think back, because it was like, yeah, literally we didn't even know. It was like, oh, hey, we hand screen printed the first shirts. Remember those green ones?
Oh, yes.
Those were like screen printed here at Freeheel Life. And then like we were shipping them off there. But so you literally, well, and that's what's so funny. So then I think I wanted to kind of go back. There's a couple memories that stick out of sort of the pre-Freeheel Life, like, a couple things got put into the shop in 2012 before I met you, but in 2014, before we opened the shop, a lot of like how the shop looked at that time, you had your hands in. One of them that I distinctly remember is putting in the floor.
Yes. I did pick the floor, guys. So if you've ever been in the shop.
Did you actually pick out the floor?
Oh yeah, no, because it was actually the same floor that I put in my house in Flagstaff.
Oh, no, I don't remember that.
Yeah, because it's a really nice, like, well, I mean, really nice is maybe relative to some people, but like it's the, like not laminate, but it's like the vinyl planks. So they're like very durable, but they still look nice. So I was like, this will be the perfect flooring for this place.
That's hilarious. I mean, it's survived
yeah, it's
pretty
still,
good.
Still kicking.
Yeah, that's funny. I distinctly remember laying floor with you, like, and also I think that photo popped up the other day of you spray painting.
Oh yes.
The
TV cabinet that we got at Savers.
Is that where it was?
Oh yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, Savers. This is why I wanted to have you on, because like it's all, a lot of that's a blur. Like, I'm like, where did we get that? Or,
and that's all my brain has in it is the most random, like, useless.
Yeah, this is why you're good.
Information.
This is why you're
basically.
good at this. No, but that's what I remember. Like, there's some funny stories that only you and I would know, because it was this predates Taylor showing up at the shop.
Yep.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you were here at the minute we opened the door. That's the other thing that's funny. You know where I'm going with this. So like, this is the funny thing, because I remember having this conversation with you, and like, I think you'd worked in some retail at that point, right? And I think we were like, all right, cool. We're going to open the shop in October. It's October 2014. And we're going to open the shop, and we're like, well, we got to come up with hours.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yes. And I don't remember if it was like you.
Oh, it was me. Because I've worked, in the past, like a lot of people.
Were you the one that came up with those hours?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So I was like, retail hours are 10 to 9 p.m., like Monday through Saturday, and then something like, 11 or noon to 6 p.m. on Sunday, right? Like, that's what like mall hours usually are, and, just generally. So I'm like, yeah, we're a retail shop. Like, that's when we need to be open. And when also there was only 2 of us to work all of those hours.
Well, this is what's
terrible.
Funny. I know. Well, that's what's.
Well, I mean, it was awesome, but it was terrible.
It's actually pretty funny to think back, because there was literally no marketing, no momentum, no like anything. It was like we literally just like opened the door. And then we had these ridiculous hours that were like
started posting on social media site like that, like put on Facebook, put on Instagram, like that was it. And then we were here.
Yeah, no, and that is what's so funny. And I don't know how long. I don't think that lasted that long. Like maybe a couple months.
No, it was not very sustainable for sure.
Well, I mean, and that's what's so funny is that we were literally sitting around from like, I thought it was 9 to 9.
No, it was 10 a.m.
It was 10 a.m.
Yep.
10 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Monday through Saturday, and then noon to 6 on Sunday. So also, if you guys can deduce from that means that we never had an actual day off. And that's another reason why you don't see me featured in the social media that often, because I can't get rad, because if you're here every single day from almost 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., well, guess what? You don't have a lot of time to do. Go ski.
That's
so yeah.
Yeah. So I guess everybody's who is like, oh, you obviously started a Telemark shop so you could go skiing. Obviously that wasn't what was on the radar at first. No, that's so funny, because I remember those were long days, because I remember anybody who's been to the shop, this is actually funny too, because if you think about the most common complaint in the winter is that there's no lights on the sign.
Yes.
And there's still no lights on the sign.
No. You have to really want to find us.
You got to really want to find us, which is actually pretty funny, because sitting around, I remember thinking like, we're sitting around at like 9 p.m. I was like, we got to keep the door open.
Yeah.
We got to keep, and like no one's been in the shop for like,
no.
Like no one, like you'd have like a day, like no one would come in.
Yeah, because that's even the more ridiculous part of it is this was when we first opened. So by default, like
nobody's coming in.
People don't know we're here quite yet. And yet we're sitting here all day long, every day.
Here's another thing. Remember, we did not even sell boots that year.
That is true.
So one of the bread and butter items of why you would come to a Telemark shop, we didn't sell it.
Nope.
We sold bindings.
Yep.
And then the used gear was like a corner of basically like my old stuff. And I think a couple other things we found.
Yeah, like a few people that you knew who were like, oh, I've got some stuff that sure I'll sell that.
Yep. Oh,
and man, it was so tiny. It was literally like, I don't even know, 6 feet or something long, like area. Whereas if anyone
like
has
used
either,
gear.
like that was how much used gear we had too. Whereas like anyone who has been to the shop in the last couple or so years or shopped on our website, like we have a lot of used gear, which is awesome. And a lot of other stuff that we also did not have.
Wow, that's
at the beginning.
That's so funny. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, what did we have that very first year? And I'm thinking of
T-shirts.
Yeah, well, we were like a glorified T-shirt shop.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we sold like a T-shirt, let alone multiple T-shirts, like 1995 T-shirts, we were like, this is amazing. We're doing it.
Well, and that was the fun thing is like there's this distinct conversation that we've had, like if we can sell 4 T-shirts a day, we got this. We're gonna get through this whole thing. And that was totally the era of like, we've mentioned on the podcast, like there was a couple people that came that like wanted to support the show. Well, actually the first year it was definitely like pity buying for sure. Like, oh, that's so cool, you guys open a Telemark shop that doesn't have boots or anything else. I'll buy a T-shirt. And so some of those first T-shirts, I think we need to probably at some point we need to track. I don't even have all the T-shirts.
No, I don't either. That's like my one, still to this day, I'm like, why did I not keep one of, because back then we actually also had like more women specific items, which I tell everybody all the time, maybe we could get some more women's items in here. But anyway, nobody listens to me.
Oh, whatever.
No, just kidding. No, but for real, like, so we had a few like women's specific shirts, and well, actually more than a few, honestly. And it's like, I have 2 of them and I still wear them today, but then like there was one. And so maybe if anyone's listening out there, and it was is this like an aqua? Yeah. This is like my unicorn. Hey, so if anybody has one, so it was like sort of like an aqua turquoise women's like tee, V-neck tee that had like the Telemark skier logo on it and a bunch of snowflakes. Like it just had like a bunch of white snowflakes on it, but like turquoise. So like number one, why didn't I take that shirt anyway when I have the other ones, and obviously like was wearing those working in the shop and whatever, but also it's just super extra weird because it was cute. It had snowflakes on it, and turquoise is one of my favorite colors, and so I'm just like, literally what happened? Like, why didn't I keep that shirt?
It is funny that it's funny that a lot of those first items that we had I don't have.
No.
Like I didn't think, I mean, for as much as I like to,
really don't. I actually have like maybe 3 or 4 of like the very early.
I definitely have a pile of collectible T-shirts that I've collected over the years, but like some of those I just don't have. Like I don't know, it didn't cross my mind. Like I think I just thought, oh, we're gonna keep printing these, and then we never did. Or there was totally. Like
in the moment you're not like, oh, I need to keep this because this will be a souvenir once it sells out, and we want to remember
that
our
nobody
first
wants to
shirts
that nobody cares about except me. No, that's funny. So, actually, a couple of the others. That is so weird. Now, this is why I was excited to talk about this, because only you will have memories of certain things. Like one of the other things, because that whole idea of opening the shop was like, I want Freeheel Life on as many things as we can. So like, if anything, we, these past couple podcasts, we've been talking about making skis and building an industry and all this.
Yeah.
I mean, the very first thing was like we tried to put logos on as much stuff as we could. One thing was sunglasses.
Yep, those sunglasses, they were like $5.
$5 sunglasses with FHL on them.
But people liked them. Well, because that was kind of like my past retail experience. Like here's me also. Like I had in a past life, I was a high school history and social studies teacher. So I have like a pretty sweet liberal arts degree that, here I am going to,
obviously you were going to work at a Telemark shop.
like help open a ski shop and like a small business and do accounting and budgeting and finances and whatever. But I did have retail experience, and so I was like, we need all those little things that I always get suckered into buying that are always by the cash register, like you guys know, or like at the dollar, stuff that's like at Target when you walk in, like that stuff just gets you. So I was like, we need those like little things, the stuff that people add on to their T-shirt that they're buying. And so it was like, okay, well, what can be these cool things we have? So one of them was sunglasses. So they were just like the cheap, like Wayfarer style sunglasses with Freeheel Life and logo on the side. But, also sometimes people are like, oh, cool, because, I just sat on my sunglasses. I could use another cheap pair.
It really was like, okay, hey, I'll grab this type of thing.
And then we also had chapstick.
I knew you were going to break
the chapstick. These were all me. So if anyone remembers these, that's...
It's funny because we still have that glasses display somewhere.
Yeah, and I searched out and like found... I found and bought our open sign like in the window. So that thing is still kicking.
Which is like the
only light of the shop.
That is like the only way you can find it.
Yeah. And then so it's like that we still have. And then I was like, well, if we're gonna have sunglasses, we have to have obviously a sunglasses display to put them on.
That's so funny.
Yep.
Wow, that is crazy. I mean, you want to talk about DIY. Mm-hmm. The sunglasses, the lip balm, the t-shirts, and like some of those designs, like I was thinking about the the women's design. Like the funniest one is like that. Yes. We had that like pink hoodie, women's hoodie. Like the garment was cool, but like I literally designed this like VW bus with like trees, and it was like a Photoshop. Like I literally got into Photoshop, and I'm not a designer. This is like a common theme of FHL is like literally like, okay, I think I can kind of like cut and paste these, and then I remember sending it to the printer and I'm like, here you go. Like I don't even think I knew what like vector art. Oh no, I knew what vector art was probably at that point, but there was some janky weird people bought them. So if you have that,
literally we sold every single one of those. That's one I don't have. And then like there was the 3/4 sleeve like raglan sleeve tee
with the deer on it.
Yeah, with the deer on it. So ladies or men, if you remember buying those for any ladies in your life, and you have our raglan tee with a deer or pink lightweight zip up hoodie with sweet VW van and trees on it.
Wow.
Send us a photo.
That is some memories. I was trying to think of anything. What if you had to think back over those first couple years, what do you think was the oddest thing that we sold?
That's a good question.
Because the first year was definitely a lot of handmade stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh well, all of your here's us open like 10 to 9 or whatever. No, I think we did put the kibosh on that and kind of switch to more of like the hours that we sort of have had going forward. Like the second half of that year, like into 2015.
We at least took Sundays off.
Yeah, we did start to take Sundays
Then we
off.
added Mondays off.
Yeah, that came later. No, but so yeah, it's like us running this place and you in the back hand stamping and burning like leather patches for all kinds of good stuff, and coasters. We had the coasters.
Oh, the coasters were a good one.
Handmade by Josh Madsen himself. Leather.
The coasters. That was actually a funny one because the coasters were there was a point where I was going to Tandy Leather and finding as many leather things that I could come up with, and they had those like 3-inch leather circles, and we were mentioning that we had silk screening in the back, because in the back we had bands that practiced, and then one of our friends, Ron, he was like, I'm going to start a silk screening business. So we had this random, we had like a random shirts. Silk screen, single screen printer and an emulsion. They could make like the emulsion paper in the back. And then he screened on those leather discs, the Hippies, Punks, and Misfits logo that he designed in ink. And then I would proceed to put a clear coat over it. The funniest part about the coasters was that we had, this is so random. People are probably like, what the hell is going on here? There was a buddy of mine who, in order to get this building, we rented out as many rooms as we could because we couldn't afford the whole building. And so next door I rented out.
Well, we didn't need the whole building because
well, that's true too.
Back then, even like we said, the USG was like 6 square feet or something. And we even had our office in what's now like the parts room.
Right.
Let alone did we even need to expand anywhere else for anything else. So yeah, it was like, fill the space with everything.
And then my other buddy had a log home company. And this is where it goes with the this is how funny. So he had like ballisters. I think that's what they call them. Like that go like the vertical on a like a handrail.
Banister?
Maybe I don't even know. See, I don't even want to tell you.
I don't either.
Point being, I remember walking back there and there was small logs that were the same diameter as the Tandy leather pieces.
Meant to be.
Right. And I was like, oh my God, this is how we're going to make coasters. And so it was like, I cut the wood up and then glued that leather disc that had been silk screened and clear coated. I don't know how many hours this must have taken me, but like then
like the ROI on these handmade items was probably
obviously
not amazing,
it made
but
sense.
Hey, we were just trying to get everything out there, so it was cool.
It was like
it was like a marketing experience.
It was like a Freeheel Life Etsy store, but like
it was. Because sewing the patches on beanies, putting them on wood pieces.
Well, and like those coasters, what was funny is
they were cool though.
They were cool, and I think I did like 4 or 6, and then I bought like that jute twine and tied it together.
Yep. No, they were honestly super sweet. I don't know if someone who has not seen these can have like any idea as we were describing this what these would look like, but they were actually like super cool, kind of like rustic, like cool coasters.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Anyways, that is a fun walk down memory lane of like random stuff. Like, so one of the things I want to, I mean, you alluded to it right off the bat. Like, you grew up in Arizona. You have you have ski experience, but literally,
I would barely consider it that.
Like to the point where you don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Now you're in the situation where you're like starting and helping run a Telemark, shop in this incredibly specific subset of snow sports. And I think the most impressive thing over the years with you, and I know everyone that's worked here would agree with this, because you have the least experience on snow, have the least experience like Telemark skiing. Like you're still a beginner skier.
Basically, yeah. No, I actually thought about it. And because like the first few years that we were open, I skied like one day. I literally like, I'll get, stupid, like, I'm not really a social media. I use social media and like, I enjoy it, but like, I don't really post a lot of stuff because anyway, but like I get like the memory things or whatever on Facebook or Instagram. And it's like my first ski day of the year and my last one. And it's like April 10th or something. And so, yeah, like I think at this point I still have only skied in the last 8 years, like probably like not 30 days, like somewhere.
Yeah, you weren't skiing that much.
Like 25 days or something.
Well, still. But this is what I was, this is what's so interesting about you is how to speak, because of how it was just a couple of us working here. You learned the equipment because you really were like a salesperson.
Oh yeah.
For years.
Yeah. Anyone who maybe has tried to, has run a small business or started one or whatever, like, that you pretty much wear all the hats. Like we've literally all basically done everything. Well, and I have literally done everything here at some point besides like tech.
Yeah, you can't ski tech.
Just so you know, I have never mounted any of your bindings, so do not worry. You are safe. But I've definitely done everything else. So yeah, I had to learn about the stuff, so I can tell you about it 100%. I totally understand it, but
to your credit,
use it that well.
Well, that's what I was going to say. To your credit, you could probably walk someone through a tech toe NTN binding like the Majo better. I would argue that you could sell that with more detail to a customer and talk about the sensations of it, what's good about it, and you have used it. Like I'm generalizing, but there's so many products that you haven't used or
no. I have still never skied a Majo.
There you go.
And I think I only skied the Lynx like once.
But I
wanted to take out the Majo multiple times, but just kind of like
that's what's always blown me. Yeah. but that's what's always blowing me away is that
Well, and you know what? I also have never skied a single 75 millimeter binding.
You never even been on one?
Nope.
Wow.
I still have not. I have only skied NTN.
Wow.
Because it was my first setup that you cobbled together for me was which I still have. Besides the boots, I have upgraded my boots. But my very first setup, like our first year that we opened, and my first day
Yep.
out that season was my sweet K2 Instincts with the multicolor Rotafella Freeride. So like, I don't know if probably a lot of you guys are familiar with the Instincts. Are like yellow and blue and have like Hawaiian flowers all over them. And then I have the multicolor Freeride. So it's like the most colorful, happy
which
setup.
is like an early 2000s ski,
yeah.
which is actually had inserts. It was the K2 era that had the inserts, and I had to like mount the Freeride binding onto it. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, but I still have those, and I actually still ski them. But back then, my first pair of boots was the Garmont Priestess.
Oh, yeah.
I did ski those for a while, a little bit. But then I currently have women's Scarpa TX Pro, which I love. I think it's super comfortable, and I love the turquoise, as I mentioned earlier, color of it. So,
well, what do you... the point I was trying to get to is like, what's been fascinating working with you over all these years is you managed to get, like, that's what I'm saying is like, I'm always touting like, we're the experts, like come to the shop. And I have never feared this. I've never feared sending someone to you to talk about gear, even though you ski less than most people, probably
absolutely,
even the customers, but you know so well how to guide people with the gear. That's always fascinated me. I guess, did you ever, what do you think is the hardest part, knowing that gear and talking to so many, probably hundreds of people?
Yeah, I'm like, anyone who's ever talked to me on the phone would probably have no idea that I'm
that's what I'm saying
not
is like
a great skier.
but you know the equipment and you know how to walk people through it.
Yeah.
That's what's so cool.
Well, I mean, that's the experience. And obviously, like, I understood from the beginning about it. And I mean, that's kind of what's been cool about coming into it and, basically essentially starting to ski at age, like I was like 32 or 33 or something like that back then. So I had, we joked earlier about like all the ski words and stuff, because like that's so funny to me, because if you don't grow up in any ski culture like whatsoever, or snow at all, it's like, oh, I mean, and much like everything, like every group, every activity, every thing that we kind of align ourselves with, whatever it might be, like has its own culture and has its own whatever that you learn and understand. So that's been like a whole thing to come into, like in general. And then on top of that, it's like the telemark aspect of it as well. But I still was passionate about the shop from the beginning, and from the beginning I still really enjoyed like everything that I kind of was starting to see and become a part of and learn about. And like I always say, like everyone is super cool, like our customers are always like awesome, and everyone that we've worked with and who's come to the shop and become a part of the team has been awesome. And it's been like a really cool thing to be a part of. So even though like I still sometimes like I'm like, I'm not like an awesome skier, yet this is what I do in like a big portion of my life. Like it's kind of funny, but I mean, I still plan to get better. I plan to do it more. But I think it's cool. It's kind of nice, I guess, too. Maybe that's the other part of it, that even though I'm not like actually technically great at it, like it's fun to have the knowledge. So like, since I don't have like the skill quite yet, like it's cool to have the other aspect of it. And I wanted to make sure that I could wear all these hats. And when there were only 2 of us, and then 3 of us, and then 4 of us only for several years, I mean, I basically had to, kind of like thrown in the fire or whatever funny saying, like it was either like learn or it's not really going to work anyway. So, and it's been fun to learn.
Yeah.
And I find it super interesting, like all the debates and just all the stuff and how many options there are. Like, I think that's a cool thing about Telemark, like, where there's all these 75 or people arguing about what's Telemark. And it's like, dude, like, I'm going to tell you guys, like, Telemark is all of these things, and it should just be like whatever you want. And that's what's actually cool about it, is you can literally ski whatever setup you want, wherever you want, whatever style you want. You can have whatever feel you want. And like, we're definitely not going to, like you guys said on that other one where someone was like, oh, Lynx, someone told the guy that the Lynx was stupid or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, that is like, what, like, why anyway? But like, whatever, that whatever your preference is, whatever your needs are for skiing, like there is a setup for you. And we're not going to tell you that any of them are wrong or blah, blah, blah. Like, we're going to say, like, this is why you'd pick this one. This is why you'd pick that one. And then you can decide for yourself, and we will help you with whatever that might be.
Yeah. No, that's a cool perspective to hear your take on it. And honestly, it's been awesome. Like, one thing I think that opened my mind working with you was the systemization of the business. A lot of my mind got opened watching you have the ability to sell product that you like learned how to sell, and actually learned how to sell like an expert, even though you weren't like a skier that was bringing telemark skier knowledge just from skiing all this different stuff, but you actually learned, and that opened my mind to go, oh wow, we can take a really complex subject like telemark, and you've been able to learn how to sell the product and pass that on to the next person. And that's cool, because that helps us train other people in a way where, most everybody tells that has worked here, but.
Well, and that's kind of the converse to me is everyone who's ever come to work here, like, has been an awesome skier, like more or less did grow up skiing, or at least had plenty of experience and definitely knows what they're doing, and is plenty happy on a black diamond run, whereas I still only do black diamond runs if I accidentally make the wrong turn at Alta because I can't follow the sign to the blue. But like, you can be an expert skier but still not understand all the technicalities of the gear, or particularly like, if they hadn't skied certain things, they're not going to know about it, or let alone be able to advise someone or hear them say, XYZ about their experience and that kind of thing, and then, guide them to like the right stuff for them. So it kind of goes both ways. And I'd say, that's something what we do here too. It's not just like, oh yeah, like we do all telemark. So like we all have that experience and, can give you the perspective, but that's even like too, we all kind of play a role. So like, I'd say kind of like, even though all of you guys definitely know about skis in general, if ever I fielded a call where someone had like very specific ski questions where I'm like, you know what, I have not skied that ski, and I'm not the most technical ski expert of the group. So I'd be like, Nate, like Nate knows about almost every ski, or obviously you, or, whatever. So, we kind of all have our strengths in that capacity too, and we can all be taught.
Yeah, no, that's true. And that's cool to hear your perspective on it too. It's been a wild ride. It is. Well, and that's the thing is like, I mean, did you ever, when we opened the door the first time and we were working like 11 or 12 hours a day, did you think it would grow to this where it's at now?
I kind of try to think about that sometimes because like, particularly my role doing most of the kind of operations and finances and just all the fun stuff behind the scenes, like, no, like I almost think and so I try to think back on that, and it's like, obviously I didn't think we wouldn't succeed, or why would we have opened the shop in the first place? Why would we have worked 12-hour days every day and, done whatever we were doing? Like, obviously we thought there was potential and hoped and thought it would succeed. Like, anyone who opens a business of any kind, like, you never know, but you open it in the first place because you think there's potential. But I just think I didn't have the context at all, or the capacity in any way to kind of just imagine what it would become. So if that makes sense. So it's like, it's not that I maybe didn't think we'd get to a place where we would sell more than 4 t-shirts a day, because even someone that has never run a business probably could understand that amount of money coming in is not going to be enough to keep a shop open, but like, would I have kind of just imagined the growth, like staff wise, the growth product wise? Like, no, I didn't, but not because I didn't think we could get there, but literally just because, how do you imagine that? Like, it's cool. But I mean, that's also maybe full circle, is that like, that's why, you obviously thought early on, like, I want to have a telemark shop. Like, I think that can be a thing. And then when we met, it kind of just like worked out that you'd sort of laid the foundation for things. And we were both in a position where we were like able to open the shop and actually make it happen. And here we are. I
know. It is really interesting to think like, yeah, I get it. It's like there was a plan in place, but I don't really know if we had the ability to like look too far down the road.
No.
Because it was always like trying to survive, you know?
Exactly. I think that's just what we did. We basically just like kept trying to survive until one day it was like, oh, well, I guess.
It's kind of working.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and again, I think another reason I wanted to get you on here solo was just like, yeah, one, you've worn literally every hat here, minus the ski tech.
I did wax one pair of skis once, though, guys.
Oh, there you go.
In like literally 2014, I think, and not since then.
Like I couldn't handle it.
I bring my instincts in, and I just like put them in the back and hope that when somebody's bored, they'll take care of them for me.
Oh, that's funny. But to your credit, we would not have survived if, from the administrative side of things, I mean. You actually had worked in insurance, for instance, in the past.
Yes.
Like, thank God Ashley somehow got tied into the Freeheel Life, folks, because otherwise my dumbass would not know probably how to price out insurance, let alone maybe not get insurance or payroll or I mean
so many things.
Yeah, no, I mean literally you even think like as we
and again
grew,
my liberal arts degree really
well,
my
whatever.
history degree.
You got that paper.
No, yeah.
No, but even like setting up payroll, I mean like all of that goes back to you setting that stuff up.
Well, and that was a whole process in and of itself. I mean, like literally every part of this thing has been like this evolution and process. Like when we first opened, we were using Big Cartel and shipping DVDs for free to Australia, if you recall.
Oh, you're still holding
That's
that.
my favorite.
You're still holding that against me.
But the shipping settings were not set up properly on the back end.
It was probably flat rate, honestly.
Well, I think it was like the shipping was like more than the cost of the DVD. But hey, whoever bought that DVD in Australia in 2014, I hope that you enjoyed it, and we appreciate that.
No, but it's just it really is mind blowing. Like I think about, it was hard to think about how we were going to get to the next stage of it. And, anyways, thank you for all your help on that, because I think
you're welcome.
Well, and I think a lot of the fact that you're also a old punk rock fan and we've always shared that. And I think
that was the other thing we sold at the beginning, records.
Oh shit, I forgot about that. No, I forgot about that. We had a vinyl section. Because that was an important thing. Oh my God, I totally forgot about that.
Yep.
The vinyl section. That's funny because I remember actually bands used to sleep at the shop, and we would because a lot of our friends were like touring musicians, and I don't think I was I might have been tour managing a little bit, but then you ended up tour managing a little bit for a punk band out of Arizona. But we had friends that were coming through, and for those of you that aren't familiar, like, you know, punk rock bands still put out vinyl records. And so I had it in my mind. I'm thinking, where did I even get that idea? Because I was like, oh, we're going to be a Telemark shop and we're going to have a vinyl section.
Yeah, it was literally just, I think, like the whole DIY, like punk rock vibe of things to, you know, have these. Because the vinyl we were selling is all super small bands that like we either, did like play shows with or, you know, met somewhere random, like, or
like that like the vague squid,
like the
squid
DIY
hat.
like record labels, you know, we'd get albums from them and
yep. Wow, I totally forgot.
Well, anyway, so back to you.
No, well, it's just side note on the vinyl. What's funny is
we still have some of it.
We still have we have some 7 inches and stuff, but what's so funny is that the music, that was a big thing because I wanted music in the shop, the ambiance of the shop. But remember, we used to play records in the shop. That's how much time. Well,
and your iPod.
We'll get to the iPod.
I forgot about that iPod.
I know you don't like the iPod, but here's what
you hear it 50 billion times because you're working 12 hours a day every day.
The third, what happened was I think the vinyl record player lasted until the second season. Yeah. Because that's when Taylor would have gotten here.
And we actually did start to, like, you know, have customers come in, and anyone who's ever played a record, like, one side isn't that long. So then like,
that's where the iPod came in because
we didn't have time to keep going and switching the record over.
Exactly. And I remember there was a distinct moment where I said, Taylor, can you turn over the record? And he looked at me like,
yes.
I don't know what you're talking about. Like, turn over the record. And I'm like, oh my God, you don't know how to turn a record over and like put the needle down. And I was like, okay, scratch that.
Just like some kids don't know, like, where do you put a stamp on an envelope?
They don't know how to write in cursive either.
They don't.
I know. These are all things we've had to
I
learn.
remember that. I totally remember.
So then the iPod came in, but the iPod never had any music on it.
Yeah, the iPod never got reloaded with any new music. So even though like there was a decent amount of songs on it, and it was like a good variety of things. Again, like maybe this is also anyone that's ever worked somewhere where they play music. Like oftentimes it's like the same, tracks or the same CD or something for some period of time. And even if it's good music, you kind of get sick of hearing it all day, every day, over and over and over and over.
Yeah. But I think, I guess that's how we got talking about it. It's just that DIY vibe. I think that's what got us through kind of that first section is I think the two of us kind of had this similar ethos. And I think that really helped us get through keeping the doors open, figuring stuff out.
Yep.
We've learned a lot.
We have.
Lots of stuff.
Worked a lot, learned a lot.
There's a lot of shit I never thought I would know.
One of my favorite things is that when we talk about like the evolution of things or whatever is like, just as we've gotten more products to sell and we've just sold more products, we've had to like upgrade our systems over the years and whatever. And like, eventually get to a real store, like a real POS system and things like that. But when we first did our first big switch to like still an actual like website, like shopping website and like actual like point of sale stuff, and Taylor helped us a lot with that, like to like migrate everything over because we quickly like realized like this is not going to cut it, if we want to be a real store and have stuff like we need a real system. And so that had been like a whole process though, and just like tons of whatever. And so we finally though got to the point where we were like ready to launch it and like put the finishing touches on it. And it was, I don't even know, like maybe midnight or something like that. And like I'm sitting at the counter down in the shop and like doing the last of like, whatever we needed to do before it could go live, like kind of running through things or whatever. And you were literally...
I fell asleep.
curled up in a ball on the floor of the shop in front of our t-shirt wall. And I have a photo of that. Maybe we'll have to dig that out of the archives and put it up. And that's like, again, just a good old classic memory of how things were going back then.
It's funny because I still shoot video and photo of stuff just to document it. But there's
a photo of me waxing that one pair of skis too.
Really?
Oh yes, there is.
Oh wow. Oh man. Well, I appreciate everything you've done. It's you deserve all the credit as a founding member of Freeheel Life.
Thank you.
I think you're skiing more now than ever before.
These last 2 seasons. Well, I was really on track in like the 2019-2020 season to maybe hit like 10 days, which for me would have been a lot. But then of course everything closed, so I only skied like 6 days that season. And then unfortunately, like just life and things and scheduling and like whatever, I kind of am here, there, everywhere some of the time towards the end of the season usually. And so I really had wanted to get 10 days last year. I still didn't, but I did ski some new places last year. Oh, and actually that was something I thought about was I listened to the Midwest Telefest recap.
Oh, you need to go to that.
Well, yes, I do. Yes, there was like, well, except like I always tell people growing up in Phoenix, like a lot of my friends are always like, oh, how do you deal with winter? And I mean, at this point I've been in cold, snowy climates for like 11 years or whatever. But I'm always like, because honestly, like even Flagstaff, like and Utah, like it's not real winter. Like if you,
it's cold up
if
there.
you learn to literally just like put on a beanie, like I always remember though when we first met, you were wearing a beanie in Phoenix, and like it was, I don't even know, but like it was not cold, and I just like that I will never forget. I was like, why is he wearing a beanie? Like you never see people wearing beanies in Phoenix. Like no one has a beanie. Like or if they do, it's like for the one time they go somewhere cold. But anyway, if you like learn like, oh, you can wear something on your neck, and there's like good technical things and base layers and just like stuff that will keep you warm and like you're fine. But also like this is nothing compared to the Midwest, even like places on the East Coast. Oh, yeah. Like I don't know, I feel like sometimes humidity. We swear on this podcast and sometimes we don't, but F that shit, because literally no. Like whenever Keith in the Midwest is ever talking about the temperatures there, I'm just like, no, that is a no for me. Like no, and
we're gonna get you. We're just gonna get you like
like below like zero on a chairlift. No.
Yeah, you would love it back there though.
No, I would like. No, that aside, I would like to go, but no. But anyway, so yes, I would like to go to Midwest Life Fest, but no, that Miles didn't know what. I don't even remember the name of it now. That little thingy, the silver thingy for a pass.
Oh, Wicket.
I also...
You didn't know what a Wicket was?
No, until I just went and skied with my friends up at Silver Mountain. I think that's what it's called in Idaho. Like Coeur d'Alene area.
I think yeah, I think you're right. It's Silver Mountain.
I think something.
Lookout?
No.
Silver Mountain.
I'm pretty sure it's Silver Mountain.
Okay.
If I'm getting that wrong, I apologize. I literally went there one day. But
they had a Wicket.
They gave me a Wicket. And so literally this was me. Like I'm holding this and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this.
Oh, I feel like.
And then my friend's husband had to show me like, well, this is what you do. And you put it. And I was like, what and trying to get the thing to stick. And it was like in the wrong. And I'm like,
oh yeah, there's
OCD. And I'm like, but no.
And then it got all crumply.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, this is not cute for me.
Did they use the hole puncher when you went through the lift line?
That they did not do. Actually.
Oh, see, that's like that's how the lifties used to roll with a hole puncher.
I have heard of that.
And they would punch a hole or two.
Yeah.
There was all ways of validating that you'd been through the line. So then if you had like holes in your ticket, they're like, okay, come on, It's like Wickets are literally the vinyl of lift tickets.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I have probably technically maybe been skiing the same amount of time as Miles or less, like, so yeah, my passes have only been cards and little scanny gates at Alta and Park City and like whatever. So I thought that was super funny when you told that story, because I'm like, I literally had that same experience this year.
That's so funny.
But anyway, yeah.
We need to have like a guide for people, like how to put a ticket on them.
Well, see, just one more thing about ski culture that I was not aware of.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, like random small. That's funny that you had that experience, because there is a lot of that small stuff, like someone who skied a lot.
Small little resort too, and
you just wouldn't think.
No,
you wouldn't even think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Well, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
And I want to say, anybody who sees Ashley, you're not here at the shop as often. However, you are always part. We're gonna drag you into this regardless. But
you can't get rid of me now. No, I mean, I've always like, it's been a super. I think of like, how did I end up here? Like, it's so random and whatever. But I mean, everyone has always been super cool, and even though I did not grow up in this and I'm not super rad, like everyone's always been
you are super
really accepting.
Rad.
Well, maybe I'm super rad in some ways, but not when it comes to skiing. But no, everyone's always been like super cool.
Yeah,
made me feel included. Blah blah blah.
And you should, because this place literally. That's why this was so important for me to do, is because you and I have had multiple conversations where it's like, there's sort of, the core group that sort of, if you're skiing and you're on the Instagram, and I think people, this podcast definitely is a lot about the business. And if it wasn't for people like you, this business wouldn't be here. It wouldn't be here because it'd be a bunch of random dirtbag
well, it would be
skiers.
you. I mean, that's the other thing too, is like over the years, like, me, you, and Tay have kind of made a good team of balancing each other out.
Yeah,
you
that's
guys
true.
Have all the ideas and all the whatever, and I'll be like, but guys, money.
Yeah, you're the
Guys.
You've always been the reasonable voice, and
it's worked well.
And yeah, you're moving on to other things, I think, amongst the crew.
Mm-hmm.
Now the one in the background now is Alex Johnson,
Yes.
Taylor's brother, has taken your position,
and he feels my pain.
Yeah, I know. You guys sort of like can get together and talk shit about all the idea people in this place. So
yeah, pretty much.
All right.
It takes a village.
A
Telemark village.
It takes a Telemark village to raise us. I don't know.
No, it's something like that.
Well, okay. I hope next season you get beyond your 10 days.
Maybe I could even get 20. Who knows?
You might get 20. You're not here as much, so
ski resorts are my oyster.
There you go. I think you should.
More time finally for me to ski after almost 8 years later.
So if you don't follow Ashley, because she really doesn't do a whole lot on her Instagram,
really
like
don't.
she doesn't post because that's a whole nother story. But you can
whenever people do follow me, like if I get tagged in like the Freeheel Life feed or whatever, or like back in the day when we did more like while we were in shop, we'd post on the stories and stuff like that. Like I would do those, so people might remember me from then too. No, but like I would occasionally get a follower, although my account's not private or anything because I just don't care.
Yeah.
But I would always wonder, like, people probably went, checked it out,
thinking you're like skiing all the time.
Yeah, and it's like literally not
dog photos.
There's like a couple. Yeah, there's Ace, my boy. Yeah, not a lot of ski content at all. Also, my handle is not Telly Ash, but maybe I've always joked with Tay that I want to make it. On that first one, I was like, yeah, Telly Ash. No, it's totally not. It's not Telly Ash.
I forgot about that.
He was like, what? It's like you don't own it.
At Ash311.
Yeah. Which one of these days I might have to change that, but
not the band.
But not, yeah. For the people that are actually old enough at this point to know that that's a band, that's my birthday. So it's not the 311. I mean, they've got some good songs, but they are not my favorite band. That's my birthday. But yeah, Ash 311. Not a whole lot of content, but if you just want to say hi, occasionally there's some content. But
there's some stuff on there.
I like to live in the real world, not in social media world. I'm enjoying life in the moment.
Get rad.
I'm too busy trying to get rad that I don't have time to post a lot of stuff.
You can't live in the
and
virtual
show
world.
that I'm getting rad or something like that.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming on again.
Thank you.
And let's have you on again next time when we're all getting rad in the nar.
Yeah, we got the pow pow.
Shred it.
When it's nuking.
Oh, nuking.
Nuking. It's nuking. All the fresh. What's the other? Oh, that one that starts with an S that I really liked.
Shroup.
Shrouping. One day I want to shroup the fresh nuking pow pow.
Oh. And with that, we'll see you next time. Peace. So good to have her on. Some of those stories are so funny. Like I think about the boxes of records, my dream of having a vinyl shop or corner inside of a Telemark shop. These are good things that people remind me of. So I'm so glad that Ash could come on. And man, she's such a big part of why this place is still here and operating. And although she's maybe not here on the day-to-day like she once was, she's always a great part of what we're doing here. And we are a true family in terms of how we operate here. And I'm forever grateful for everything she's done. So if I haven't made it apparent from the intro through the podcast about my gratitude for Ashley and everybody that's put time and effort into building this thing, I hope it's out in the open now. So thank you, Ashley. You're amazing. And I'm glad we got to do this podcast. There's a lot of funny parts to the chats. So I'm sure she'll be back in at some point, and we'll keep the podcast rolling. Hopefully she's skiing more. Geez, I felt bad. It's like when I think about when we started this and she's skiing like 1 or 2 days a year, I'm like, man, we're failing on the lifestyle side of this thing. So Anyways, thanks for listening. I hope you guys have a great week ahead of you if you're listening to this on Monday when it drops. If not, if you're midweek or whatever day you're having, I hope you're having a great day. I'll be back next week on Monday. So if whatever podcast platform you're on, please subscribe to the podcast, and that way you can get a hold of all of the information. Until then, you can check out freeheellife.com. Check out those protector skis that we've got up. Check out the new merch that's dropping as we move through the spring and summer. And you can always email me your thoughts at podcast@freeheellife.com. I've been getting some really fun emails from folks, and that keeps me pumped up and moving forward. So thank you so much. Appreciate you all, my fellow protectors of the turn, my brothers and sisters. Until next week, spread Telemark always. Peace out.